Yes, sir, good people. It's your boy, D-Boy Henry Hick, back at it again. One more time. GGO Podcast, episode 5. Yes, sir, Rebar. We are churning and burning. And we got a special one for you boys and girls today. We got a special guest for the first time in GGO history. The big homie, friend of the channel, friend of the boy, friend of your boy, Will777 goddamn P. Go ahead, talk to the people with yourself.
What is up, gamers? And I'm so happy. I've been bugging Henry for 5 episodes that I need to hop in here. And today we here. We're about to lay it down for y'all today. And a lot of great topics. I'm hyped.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of good topics. A lot of awesome games as a service news. This good brother's favorite topic to discuss. If it ain't live service, he don't want to talk about it. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, gaming is gaming. A win is a
Gaming
win.
is gaming. Gaming is gaming. Now let the good people know what it is you've been gaming on, good brother.
Oh man, so look, I'm getting ready for March because as y'all know, March is going to be a heavy month in gaming. So I've been playing some of that Resident Evil Village, checking out that third-person perspective, getting ready for Resident Evil Requiem. I really wanted to just prepare myself for that game. I got the weekend off. It's going to be my birthday weekend, so I have Thursday, Friday, Monday off, and I'm going to just go ahead and play that game when it come out. And so that's what I've been gaming mostly, man. I've been streaming it on my channel over there every night, trying to show the good people over there the game and how the third person looks. And yeah, it's a good time. But that's mainly it, man, because I just beat Cult of the Lamb earlier this week as well, and to play that Woolhaven DLC, which is something I've also been playing. But yeah, those were the main two.
Oh yeah, man. If the good people don't know, man, this brother right here run through some games in January alone. This individual ran through about 10 of them good guys. You know what I mean? He take it serious. It's a lifestyle over there. It ain't just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And you know, this guy inspired me to even beat more games. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just games as a service and no more. You know what I mean? I'm hopping in some single player experiences, busting down some storylines, and enjoying myself. Now, when it comes to what I've been playing Ghost Recon, Breakpoint. Oh yes, indeed. I meant to foot dip off in here right after I finished Assassin's Creed Shadows, but I just got pulled in. It's been a damn good time. I wanted to play a shooter. It's a third-person shooter. It's open world. It's a lot of stuff going on. The world is lively. NPCs going to and fro. A lot of killing. A lot of skill trees. A lot of weapons. A lot of skins. There's a lot going on. I'm having a damn good time. Hopefully, they got another one of these stewing and brewing inside the offices over there at Ubisoft because it's about that time. It's about that time indeed. And I've also been playing some High Guard, you know. Came out last week. I've been putting in some time here and there in the evenings, knocking out my dailies. They just dropped a new update today. Got an update coming tomorrow as far as ranked and a new character. Patch notes dropped. They've been plugging away at this game. They've been over there hard at work. You know, the player count ain't the healthiest, but I do enjoy seeing, you know, developers putting their head down and working and trying, you know, trying to build the game up to what the gamers want it to be. The gamers who enjoy it, especially now that all of the noise has come and gone. And I'm loving it. I'm enjoying every bit of that there. But those are the two games I'm into right now. You know, hopefully I'll be wrapping up Ghost Recon Breakpoint this week. If not, it's gonna be another week. Either way, I'm enjoying myself. Now, speaking of Ubisoft, this is an Ubisoft game. I'm gonna make a little transition on over here to the first topic, which is Division 1 Definitive Edition. This was it was a bit of a rumor for about a year now. People have been speculating of what it could be and things of this nature. And one of the YouTubers I watch that, you know, dropped news about the Division, strictly Division. That's all he covers. He's a Division YouTuber. He dropped some more info about it today, but it finally came out to the people. It's pretty much just Division 1 repackaged with all the DLC included, and that's why they call it a definitive edition. some people seemingly expected it to be like some sort of remaster or have some new stuff in there. But seeing as how I've been kind of keeping up with the division this whole time, they had already updated it. It runs at 60. They did that update last December, and the survivor mode, which is a mode exclusive to the Division 1, the Division 2 does not have this mode. They had kind of revitalized that mode around last October, so it's breathing new life into that game. So I'm assuming that's why they decided to go ahead and drop that definitive edition, since many people were, getting back into the game. Now, Will777JP, you played the Division 1, right?
I played a little bit of it, yeah.
You played a little bit of it. When you heard about the definitive edition, what were your initial thoughts as far as, was it something you think you would probably check out? Was it something that, because we know that Ubisoft been updating a lot of their older games. Is it something that you were surprised to see? Let me know what you were thinking in regards to this definitive edition.
So I was not surprised to hear about the definitive edition, because I'm big with show me your history, I'll tell you your future. And I know a lot of people like to hate on Ubisoft, but Ubisoft is extremely consistent with their IP.
100%.
They pay a lot of attention to it, which is kind of the same thing that Nintendo people say about Nintendo and their IP, right? But Ubisoft actually does it, right? They give us upgrades to 60 frames per second, which, by the way, I'm gonna look in a little bit here, but there's only a handful of games that they haven't given that up 60 frames per second update. But when I heard about the Division 1, for onboarding purposes alone, I deal with it, or I fuck with it, because one of the things that frustrate me about Destiny, for example, Destiny 2, is coming in as a new player after all these DLCs have come out. I don't know what I need, what I'm missing, what I should get to continue the story. So when I heard about it, it kind of piqued my interest a little bit. Now, I'm not a live service gamer. I really don't like it, but I do play the PvE stuff, and I do like the PvE stuff. So we'll see how much it costs. We'll see how much it is. I don't know if that news is out there yet. But I may just go ahead and grab that, especially all the sales that Ubisoft does, and just play it at my own leisure and see what we can get out of it. But yeah, I think it's a smart move. It's a great way to repackage your game and put it out there, especially after a 60 frames per second update like that.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think it's an awesome idea. They've kind of, ever since Star Wars Outlaws was finished, and Massive came back to work on the Division franchise. Ubisoft has been in the news for a lot of negative things, and they've been updating a lot of older games. They got a lot of push and pull going on over there at Ubisoft. But the Division is one of my favorite franchises. Though I don't consume it in a live service way. It is a live service game, and they do updates. They got seasons and all this type of stuff. I don't engage in it that way. I like the Division for its story, the world they created. As weird as it may be, as somebody who does like live service games, I don't know. I don't really care for the way that the multiplayer functions as far as PvP. I don't really care for like the little mini missions they drop season to season, like the hunts and stuff. I don't really care for all that. I strictly just play that for the co-op with the homies and stuff like that. That's a game I actually beat with my cousin. We went through Division 1, we went through Division 2. And I think this is an awesome idea. I'm gonna for sure jump back in there. Hopefully Will777JP, we get all up in there, get RPG 88 involved in there. The main thing that I'm looking forward to with the Division franchise and these updates is they're adding a realism mode. And in Division 1, well, the Division as a whole, one complaint that you get from some people who would like to get into Division but don't really care for it is how the enemies feel like bullet spongy and take a lot of bullets to kill them. And what they would figure out if they stuck with it is once you get your build together, you can pretty much melt enemies in seconds. But of course, that take a little bit of thought and what I mean, putting together builds, sometimes looking at guides, all this other stuff instead of just organically being able to play and melting through the enemies. But what this realism mode will do, it'll kind of make it in a way like Ghost Recon, Breakpoint. You shooting, you killing. You get a headshot, it's a headshot, they out of there. So it's gonna kind of play like how Ghost Recon plays, and they're going to use the Brooklyn DLC as a testing ground for it, which leads me to believe that possibly in Division 3 that mode would be there at launch. So you can pick between, and this is just my speculation, of course, you can pick between the classic Division playstyle with, all the builds and doing the numbers and calculations and all that stuff, or you're able to play through it in realism mode where, your headshot is your headshot, your core damage, you still got crits and all that type of stuff, but it's not all the number stuff. It's not, you don't really have to worry about all of that. Now, Will, when you played the Division, was that something that kind of bothered you, or were you fine with it in the way that the enemies were kind of bullet spongy and eating up all your bullets?
You know what? I'm not one of those guys that really pays much. I don't want to say pay attention because I do recognize it, but yeah. I don't complain too much about it. See, when I play games, and this is something that I'm able to do, is I'm able to distinguish the good and the bad and give it an overall score.
Right on.
When I play a game, so I don't let the one thing in the game frustrate me when there's a lot of other good things that are good. You know what I mean? Unless that one thing is a big thing. Right now, an enemy being bullet spongy is that big thing for you, then do you. It's your time. It's your hobby. You do what you do. To me, it ain't. Right? I just got to say that there's a lot of play testing they do with these games, especially a company like Ubisoft, where they're this big, conglomerate.
Yep.
And they have so many people shooting these bad guys who are in play testing for months and months and months. And if they think is how they want their game to be, then hey, it is what it is, right? But yeah, I don't mind it at all, as long as the game has other things that get me excited to keep playing.
Right on. Yeah, I'm right there with you. As a fan of the franchise, it was something that I got used to, but initially when it happened, I was kind of like, it was different, but I also gave it an opportunity to win me over. You know what I mean? I spent time engaging with it and figuring out and learning the build and, catering my play style to that build. So I was able to take those enemies out quick. It's just one of those things that when I hear people who, how you hear somebody who like, oh yeah, I tried to get into it, but I just couldn't because, you know what I mean? Like those type of people, that's kind of one of the things that they would reference as far as why they felt like they couldn't get into the game. But I'm also not mad at the realism mode, especially after, spending some time in Ghost Recon and being able to just play it like a traditional third person shooter. I think that's cool. So it's dope that they're also taking that time to create the different modes and actually test them out. Like you say, they do a ton of play testing at Ubisoft, especially with the Division. It's like every couple of months they're doing a play test. It's only available through like PC and stuff like that. I wish they would have something to where they could bring that over to, console, so the people over here could, check it out, because there's a lot of guys that still play this joint on console and, got YouTube channels, TikTok accounts and things like that. So I think it would be valuable to get that bit of feedback from the console side. I think that sometimes these companies miss out on a lot of quality feedback by just leaning on the PC individual, because the PC individual a lot of times are looking for different stuff than what the console individual is looking for. You know, a lot of times these PC guys, they looking for the settings and they want to tune this and tune that. And the console gamer is not always looking for that. In my opinion, I feel like the console gamer is can provide more feedback just as far as how the game feels and, you know, controls and things like that. But, you know, it's cool. I'm happy to see it. I think what they're doing with the different modes, I think this is also another way that Ubisoft will be, in a way, revolutionizing, you know, in gaming by having these different ways to approach the game. Kind of like in Assassin's Creed Shadows, they had the, what was it, the canon mode, and then they had the other mode, like the regular mode. You remember what they were called?
No, I don't. I don't remember. No, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since. Well, it's been a while.
Well, yeah, well, it's fresh in my mind. So I remember that you could, you know, either play it in that mode and experience the sequences differently as far as choices you could or couldn't make, and then you had the kind of free mode where you can kind of approach it however you want to. I thought that was interesting. So it's nice to see them applying a similar idea like that to other games, as far as, you know, you got your realism mode, you can play the game through that way, and then you got your traditional tactical shooter RPG mode, because they were one of the first ones to do the RPG shooting and extraction stuff inside of a shooter. But that's it for the Ubisoft. You got anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good on Ubisoft. I am excited to see what their next project's going to be, though. I feel like we haven't had an announcement from them in a while. So, besides the Division, I'm really looking forward to what's the other game they're gonna upgrade to 60 frames, or they're gonna do remake, remaster, or just a whole new IP. Assassin's Creed Shadows turning 1 year old in like a month or two, so it's about that time.
Yeah, they have been just dropping like a lot of, you know, smaller stuff, and, you know, update this game, update that game, the third person mode for Avatar, or the definitive edition for this, the 60 frames for that. You know, they have been dropping like a little small tidbit style updates, and it would be cool to see them, you know, announce something official, like a big reveal trailer, stuff like that. I think that'd be cool. And it's high time for it. It's high time for it. The last time they had like a big trailer, big event type thing was when Rainbow Six Siege relaunched as Siege X, celebrating their 10th year. One of the longest running games as a service game. Shout out to them. That game is raking in the dollars for Ubisoft. It's successful. Didn't launch that way, but it is going that way. But next up, make this transition on to, realistically, how would you say this? Would this be your most anticipated game of 2026, or just an anticipated game in 2026 regarding Crimson Desert?
So Crimson Desert is, I'm gonna be real with you guys, it wasn't anticipated to me. I mean, on level of like 1 to 10, it was probably about a 1, right? Because it's an action adventure game, so it caught my attention because of that. But we still had questions, right? Like, is this gonna be more Souls-like, or is it gonna be more like hack and slashy arcade? Like, what's it gonna be? So I never really paid it no mind, like I try to do with most games that are a year, 2 years out. But as time gotten closer, that anticipation is building and building and building, and now it's probably one of my most anticipated games of the month of March. Just I don't know what the rest of the year is gonna look like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's up there, man. Like, I even went to Amazon to make sure my pre-order is straight, make sure I got the deluxe edition. So yeah, I'm excited. But once again, I do have it pre-ordered. Just because I do don't mean it's a given. There's still some things I gotta see from that game, which we'll get into in a bit.
Yeah, right on. See, for me, it was a game I was interested in, but I just wasn't sure. You know, we had a conversation about, you know, whether or not how it would stick to landing, you know. But here recently, they have been, you know, dropping quite a bit of promotional videos, gameplay. And as a gamer, that's one thing we love to see, goddamn gameplay. So much so that the last breakdown or last overview they showed as far as the story, at that point I'm sold. You know, one of my worries were for the performance at launch, because I just felt like at launch I don't see it performing the best. You know, because they're more so a mobile studio. They do the mobile and PC MMO style, which is a big game, to be honest. Like when I actually sat down and thought about it, that Black Desert Online is a big game. So but it wasn't necessarily the scope. It was more so all the things you would be doing, you know, because a lot of the stuff in Black Desert Online is auto. Like your character can auto run, auto attack, and it's not much detail in there. But one thing we have seen in Gen is mobile studios stepping up and delivering on the console front. So this may well just be their opportunity and their I'm here moment. Like various, like for example, Shift Up. They went from making a mobile game where there is no moving around. It's like an RPG tactical style mobile game. They went from making that to making Stellar Blade, which was amazing, performed excellent, looked excellent. You know, story was pretty fucking interesting. If I do say so myself, I was hooked. Will777JP, he played this game. It was generally loved, to be honest with you. Mostly everybody who played this game loved this game, had high praises of it, and even Digital Foundry had spoke to the performance of it. So this may very well be this studio's shift up moment, you know what I mean? Which would be cool. And so seeing this last story trailer, and they showed characters, they went more in depth into what you will be doing, and it was so cool to the point where I really didn't give a fuck about if the performance wasn't that great no more. You know what I mean? Because I seen cool shit I want to do. I seen a character I wanted to participate in the game with, and I was with it. You know what I'm saying? Inside of, and they also just recently dropped another video going over some features as far as the game. So this rollout for this game is looking quite excellent. In these videos with Will777JP, what is the most, what are you looking forward to do the most inside of this game?
So that's the other, and just to go back to what I was saying earlier about the pre-ordering of the game. So just like Henry, performance is always the concern with these games, right? Because this game is so big. And that's why I say they still have to convince me, because they still haven't really shown us much on the console side. Most of everything they've shown us is on the PC side of the gameplay. I mean, just today they dropped I think it was a 8-minute video on the combat and how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I am looking forward to the most about this game is the game itself. And what I mean by that is open world action RPG. That is what I'm looking forward to the most, because I feel like over the last 6 months to a year, there really hasn't been many games that fall within that category that I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can go through and list all the games that have come out, right? But take a closer look, man. How many games were that open world action RPG style, like a Horizon Forbidden West or like an Assassin's Creed, right? Like I feel like there wasn't that many of them. I feel like they were very specialized type of games. Like we got, you know, Expedition 33, turn-based, even the Kingdom Come Deliverance, right? But that one is like a simulator in a way.
Yep.
So that's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, is just that. The second thing, of course, is the story. I really like, so medieval kind of vibe. I really love that in video games. So I'm really, and for those of you guys that don't know the premise of the game, this is no spoiler. Mind you, the game ain't out, I don't know, but this is what they told us so far.
Yeah.
The premise of the game is you guys go into a big war and this enemy has conquered you, so you have to go out, kind of rebuild your army and take over each region back. And I think there's 5 or 6 regions that you gotta take over. So that's the other part that I'm really looking forward to, is I hope we see some like big army versus army combat. I want to see
Oh
more
yeah,
than
that'll be
just
tight.
2 or 3 characters that I'm fighting. You know what I mean? Like I want to
Yeah.
see like 10v10, 15v20, something like that. And I think with the scope that this game is trying to go with, we may see something like that. Because mind you, this game is bigger than Skyrim, is a little bit bigger than Red Dead 2. But not only is it you walking around and the map being big, but it's also up in the sky too. So
Mm-hmm.
there's layers to this world. So there's a lot. So I'm really interested to see what they do. And the combat looks dope, but I'm really interested in the story, how it all happens. I'm interested in the actual gameplay loop of the game. Those are my big 3 things that caught my attention with this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you was spot on. That whole big large scale war type situation, army versus army, I think that'd be fucking tight. And I actually think,
Mm-hmm.
now that you bring that up, I think that probably be up in that shit, bro. That will probably be up in that shit. Because even when you see some of the gameplay and you see the character Cliff, you see him fighting by himself, he's still fighting like fucking 10, 15 dudes. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
to have like a squad, even if it's just like you and like a small squad of soldiers, a small squad of bandits, or people who you come across on your journey, I think that'll still be tight, even if it's not the large scale stuff.
oh yeah. And if you notice in the combat, you'll see that when he's fighting, when he got like 7, 8 people around him, it's not like he does one big like attack and then destroys them all. No, he's constantly dodging and rolling and parrying, and
Yeah.
so it does feel like you're fighting 10 people at once. And yeah, that's just dope. Sorry to cut in there.
No. That's right. That's spot on. Cause it was a lot of that when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? You surrounded by guys. You gotta you. It's like Born Ultimatum a little bit. You can use the environment to your advantage and stuff. You doing power bombs. You doing slams. You doing parries, perfect parries, which I like. I love to see that in games. I love perfect parries. I love perfect dodges. And also, speaking to your point about the action adventure side of it, you a lot of times too you get these open world games like that. It's just it end up being just a Souls like, which in a way I've kind of gotten kind of, I don't even play them all, but I still got burnt out on them. Just seeing them. Every time you see a cool game that I feel could do all right as a action adventure type game, it's Souls like. And I think in a lot of ways it kind of just take diminish it, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate Souls games, nothing like that. I just feel like every time they announce a cool looking open world, cool combat, it's a Souls like. I just really enjoy, and I'm glad that they're bringing it back, and just action adventure. So action adventure hack and slash. That's something we've been missing for a while, because it was in a rut for a second as far as the style of combat that they would choose to utilize. And it's gonna be a lot to do in this game. I'm also looking forward to like exploring the world. The world looks vast. There's different ways of traversing it. You're gonna be able to float. You're gonna have a mount. I seen in there he was riding a bear, and you can also utilize the mount in combat. There's gonna be a lot of different ways that you'll be able to approach the whatever task is you're met with. The people are calling it constructs. The mech. I'm wondering how you'll be able to customize that. Can you put different weapons on that? Can you make it look different visually, or is that when you get it, that's just what it is? Because I'm sure it's gonna be a degree of customization up in here. I feel like it would be a waste if it weren't. I like the idea of, even if you have a set character, like Cliff is a set character, I like the idea of being able to outfit him how you want to outfit him. You know what I mean? Like you want to put a heavy armor set on him, a light armor set on him. And if you're able to do that, will that translate to like certain attributes? Like if you have a assassin style armor set on, will you be able to like do things like turn invisible, for example? Or if you're sneaking, will it take the enemy NPCs longer to detect you? Or maybe you can sneak without making noise or something, like different cool stuff like that they can add in depending on the type of gear you wearing. You know what I mean? Does
The
he?
answer is yes, yes, and yes.
You see
So I
what I'm
was
saying?
actually listening to the interview today, and prepare myself for this podcast. And so yes, all that stuff is yes. And something else that people just don't understand about this game. And just to take it back real quick, because I know somebody's gonna out here say some shit like, well, you're not really paying attention because there was a whole ton of open world action RPGs that came out in 2025. Okay, I'm sure there were, but nothing that I can remember that stood out to me. Nothing that I was dying to play, except for
Mm,
like the ones that I mentioned. But even those weren't open world action RPGs. Like one's a simulator, one is a turn based. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And Shadows did come out, and I did play Shadows, but once again, it didn't scratch that spot. It did hit all those things that I liked, but the story was trash. And I got a
Mm-hmm.
feeling the story might not be as good in this one either. But this one has mechs. You can fly. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like
Yep.
there's a
Yep.
lot more you
Yep.
can do. But I was listening to the Destin, that's how you say his name, right? Destin.
Yeah. Destin Legary.
Destin Gary interview with the director of the game today and preparedness for the podcast today. And number one, Destin can't interview for shit. But what Henry was talking about, the different armor types and abilities, yes, yes, and yes. There's gonna be so much of that, and there's also 3 characters in there.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
we don't know if we'll be able to switch off like GTA 5 style or what, or if each character is going to get their own lore and story. We don't know. But also, the director said he's not going to get into skill trees quite yet. He's going to wait a little bit longer to get into that stuff, probably within a week or 2 of the game being out. And the reason, and look, I don't want to attack Destin, like, for no reason, but it's like the one thing he did in this interview that was really pissing me off is he tried to talk to him like if he's the voice for all gamers, right? Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, he says something along the lines of, "Well, what's in the end game?" Because most gamers they do the whole story, then they go back and do the side content, and then they want the end game. And I'm like, most gamers who? Because all my friends, the way we play a game like this is we take it by sections. Meaning, if we're in this section, we'll go in, we'll explore everything, we'll do some side content. If we're bored of that, then we'll hop into the main story campaign just to get that that story injection, and then we'll go back to doing more side content. And then when we feel like we're clear with this area, then we'll move on to the next area. And what happens when we do that is we're usually maxed out with attributes for that area. We're maxed
Mm-hmm.
out with whatever, weapons, whatever, and then we move on. So each level that we do, or each section of the open world we do, we're basically, topped out. So for example, if in level 1 you're fighting zombies that are levels 1 to 3, then the next part of the open world that opens up, you jump to higher difficulty enemy like 5 to 6, right? Level 5 to 6. Well, you're so over OP from doing all the side content, getting all the points, upgrading, that by the time you get to the next open world part, you're not struggling against a level 6 zombie.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there with them. And that's how I know my friends play, right? So I don't know what Destin is talking about. And that really pissed me off, and more than just that way, because now he's also comparing the game. I don't know how many times I've heard, oh, like Dragon's Dogma. Oh, like Skyrim. Oh, like this other game. And I'm like, bro, let the guy tell you what the game is like. If he wants to compare the game to others, imagine you being with your girlfriend and she's like, "Oh, you have a nice car like my ex-man. Oh, you have the same shoes my ex-man did. Oh, my ex-man has this cologne." It's like, what? So now I'm just, this is a
Yeah.
compare, like, bro, let him talk, let him do his thing. This game is unique. The only thing that I've seen that's comparable is that it's an action open world game. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I've never seen a game that has mech, that has flying, that has, yeah, you can take games like Zelda, right, where you have the map is in the sky, underground, right? You have all this. Yeah, you can take little bits, but let the man explain. But anyways, I'm sorry, I went on a little rant, Henry. But to answer Henry's question, yes, the game is going to have all those things in there, and it's going to be super interesting to see how they're going to implement that. One of the things and I'm sorry to kind of go off base a little bit here, Henry, but
No, man, go ahead,
What's
man.
his name? Kevin Levine, the
Yeah.
guy who created the BioShock, who's working on Judas. So Game Informer has an interview with him, that's upcoming on the new magazine. But of course, me and Henry are members, so we get it online as well. And
Yeah.
Kev Levine took 5 years, just 5 years, just to work on the game mechanics of the game.
Yep.
5 years just to work on those. And the way he makes a game is he doesn't think of a story and then makes a game. He thinks of a game mechanic and then brings the story in and how it's gonna fit, right?
Super
And those are
interesting.
the super dope, super interesting because there's so many times where we're like, for example, the game on PS4 where you can shoot electricity and shit, and it came out during the PS3 era. It is called Infamous, right? Like that story goes with the gameplay mechanics. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many games out there that the story don't really have nothing to do. Like you can make a revenge story, and you can make in a futuristic world or a world in the 1800s, and that story will fit in either or, right? But when they add gameplay mechanics to the story, I think that's what takes it to the next level and makes it a little bit more special. Like this gameplay mechanic and this story can only be told in this game, right? And that's what I'm really hoping to see when you asked me earlier what I'm looking forward to in this game is just that. How are they
Mm-hmm.
gonna implement the mechs? How are they gonna implement the flying? How are they gonna implement the 1v10, right? How are they gonna implement heavy armor into the story? And that's what I'm really looking forward to. But yes, it's gonna have all those things.
Oh yeah. I'm excited about that because I like stuff like that, especially when I can do stealth in a world that big. I really enjoy, a good stealth game, and if I get the opportunity to stealth it out, I'm gonna stealth it out, bro. I don't know. In a weird way, I feel like stealth in games is kind of like like a puzzle mechanic. You know what I mean? Like the
Hmm.
game has a direction it wants you to go, and you can take a couple of different paths to get there, but it's like you have to figure out the correct path to get there without being seen. And of course, in a game like Assassin's Creed or what's another one, Unknown Nine Awakening, I'm gonna still kill everybody anyway. But I just like the idea. I feel really accomplished when I approach a game in a stealth kind of way, and I dispatch all the enemies in the areas without getting seen. Now, if I get seen, I won't like restart it or nothing. But I get a sense of accomplishment doing it that way, especially if it's in like an open world. If it's like a more linear setting, then it's not as I don't feel it's as challenging because I feel like you have less routes you can take if it's more linear. Because the path you can take is just it's more obvious. Like when I played Unknown Nine Away, not Unknown Nine Away, Evo Tension. That's it. It was a China hero game. It was a ton of stuff up in there, but it was on the more linear side. It was still fun, but I didn't find it to be as satisfying. But Crimson Desert, awesome game. Looking forward to it myself. I'm also, to your point about the how they'll approach the character switching. I'm wondering, since it's an Asian developer, what they usually do is they have it where you switch on the fly. Where you just hit R1 or something, and then that character will quote unquote transform into the other character, and that way you can get some attacks off with this character, switch, and then continue to combo and switch and do it that way. I wonder if that's gonna be a mechanic in there. Um, Either way, it'd be cool because they showed the one lady with the great sword and the pistol. That I was like, yeah, bro, I need to play this character. This character look hella dope. And then they also showed the was it ogre? It was like the big stronger character. It kind of looked like an ogre in the face or a orc in the face. So I'm wondering also, will those be the only two other characters, or can you recruit other characters so you can have like a party of five or a party of six or something? It's a lot of interesting questions I got about the game, but I'm willing to wait and see what they actually present inside the game, and take it for what it is, and have a good time because I'm really looking forward to the game. I think it's gonna be a ton of fun. I'm gonna be able to pour a ton of hours into this joint. I'm probably myself put at least 95 into that good guy. You probably hit 100 or something in that joint. The way you approach these games, I know this is a genre you really enjoy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's hitting all those things for me. And look, I want to touch on something real quick, Henry, and let me know when you need me to cut it off, and move on. But I also wanna speak to the gamer, and that's gonna be, I think, something I'm gonna hit on throughout this podcast, throughout the different topics we talk about, because this game has been very forward with us on what it is, what it's trying to do, what it ain't, and gamers have been so washy-washy. And I understand, right? I get it. This whole console generation in specific, I feel like gamers have gotten burned a lot of times, right? With performance issues, games that come out incomplete, games that are missing things. And just this week alone, this game, Crimson Desert, has dropped almost 30 minutes of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Just this week alone. If we talk about in the last year, there is almost an hour worth of gameplay. An hour, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care how powerful your computer is, right? Because that's the one thing they'll bring up is, well, all the gameplay has been on PC. And I understand that, and they need to show console gameplay for sure. Even though console may not be, like PlayStation may not be the console where this thing sells the most, we don't know. Based on the numbers for a lot of these big games, sometimes PC does the best, sometimes console does the best. Either way, when you combine them all, it's a lot of numbers. So a lot of sales. So they have to come out with a game that performs well on no matter PC or what. But
Yep.
there hasn't been any clues. There hasn't been anything that they've shown us, which is a lot, that leads me to believe the game is going to be a broken, buggy mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying don't be skeptical, be skeptical. But there's a point where you're just being straight up negative, right? Just because game is going to be the first to ever do something, which I don't think this game is the first to ever do it. I think we've gotten games that do a lot of different things at once. Whether they do it right or wrong, that's up for discussion. But this isn't like it's some new technology we've never seen before. No, we just have strong hardware nowadays. The other thing that's impressive about this game, it's got no loading screens. Right?
Super
no
dope.
loading screens.
Super dope.
So I'm just saying it's okay to be skeptics. You don't want to buy the game until you hear from your favorite reviewer who doesn't really play games but loves talking about gaming. You do that, right? I don't listen to none of these people, not even Destin himself. I listen to my own experience, which is 30 some years experience playing video games, and then my boys. So, and the reason I listen to my boys is because I've been friends with them, so I know what they like, what they don't like. So when they tell me, hey, this game has problems, not only do I know what they like and they don't like, but they also know what I like and what I don't like, so they're able to transmit that information to me in a way where they know it's either going to appeal to me or dissuade me from the game. And then I take that information based on the information that I know from them, and I can make up my own mind. It is a very complicated thing that happens between two people. That's why I don't say a lot of times, yeah, I recommend this game. No, I say you may like this game or something like that for those reasons. But either way, getting back to the topic of discussion, we need to walk that fine line from criticism to just straight up hating, because it feels like a lot of people are hating on this game, and I cannot understand why, because they haven't gave us any clues that this game's going to have any of these issues. Mm-hmm. But either way, we will find out more. And I'm not defending it either. I'm just saying in general. And this is just another example.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I concur with everything you just said. Yes, some people have a reason to be skeptical, but that you being skeptical is also not a reason to just wrap this whole situation in negativity and chaos and turmoil, especially when the developer has been pretty open as far as showing gameplay. He's showing the game. They're showing the game running. You know what I mean? Sure, it may be on PC. Sure, the console footage may be less than what they're showing on PC. But to Will's point, they're not gonna just produce and push out something just terrible and broken and unplayable on the PlayStation 5 console. At this point, the PlayStation 5 is the default console, and to put a game that runs like dog shit over there would be that'd be kind of suicide. We seen how that went when Cyberpunk 2077 launched on PlayStation. I don't even know if they had ever taken the game off the store before. You know what I mean? Maybe they have, maybe they hadn't. But we remember that. You know what I'm saying? And you can't tell me that CDPR felt good knowing that PlayStation took their game off. You know what I mean?
That's aside from the money part. You know what I mean? That's aside from the financials. That's aside from the awards. Just as a company, like nobody wants to feel good. Even the shittiest of them. Even EA. Like, what, you think EA is happy every time people are online talking about, oh, 2K looks the same as the last 5 years? No. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, fuck it, it's money in the bank, right? But yeah, come on, we have a moral compass system, and I'm not saying they're gonna do the right or wrong thing, but the other thing that Henry hinted on is this game has gotten delayed already, guys. This game was supposed to come out in 2025, and they delayed it about 6 months or so. So it's not like this is the first date that they set and they're sticking to it. No, they've delayed it already. So I'm just giving you that bit of information because if the game hadn't got delayed, I'm sorry, tongue tie. If the game hasn't gotten delayed before, then maybe I can see more of that, you know, people being skeptic about it. But it's already been through that delay. It's got its gold status. Game is good to go. So, and in combination with all the gameplay and all the information and all the interviews, I don't know, man. It's just like, remember Mind's Eye? Yep. Mind's Eye, it was something similar, except it was the opposite results. They did the gameplay. They did the interviews. But the shit that we saw looked broken. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just don't know where this skepticism's coming from in regards to the game. If the skepticism's coming from just because the game is that big and is doing different shit, I just don't think that's a valid reason. Okay. Especially with what they've shown us. But that's just me.
Yeah, they have shown, especially when you broke it down to how much they've shown us in the span of a week or a span of two. They dropped
a week and a year.
Yeah, like they've just shown us so much about the game as far as visually, and then now they're going over the mechanics, and we've seen the combat. We've seen the combat with multiple enemies on the screen. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just 1v1 or these small instances of action. They really, you know, pulled the stops out as far as showing us the game in action. And admittedly, it been looking pretty good. You know, just a little skeptic side of me, you know, just worried about something that I might not even be valid and worried about. You know what I'm saying? By the time it's all said and done and we get the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and look, I could be wrong, right? The game can come out a broken, buggy mess. I'm just saying that the evidence that's in front of us is not showing that. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's it. We need to learn how to be able to take the information that's given to us and dissect it and make a real conclusion out of it, not just repeat what other people are saying. Let's be real, man. A lot of these guys that say these dumbass things, I'm not talking about Crimson Desert in specific right now, I'm just saying in general, a lot of these guys don't even game like that. So why are we listening to these people that they won't show us their wrap up? If they do, they're gaming 3, 4, 5, 600 hours a year, but yet they have some of the biggest channels. Like, make that make sense, my boy. You do gaming for a living, but yet your editor has more game time than you. Like, make that make sense. That's all I'm saying.
Hey man, and you heard it here first. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's valid, man. You do have a lot of people inside of the community who got vast followings. They've worked at all the big games media outlets, but they not posting no wrap up. They ain't posting how many hours they put on PlayStation. They ain't posting how many hours they put on Steam. They ain't posting none of that. But they the first ones to speak when it comes to, you know, how a game is looking, how a game is performing, and what we as gamers should be excited for, and if this is a good game, if this is a bad game, if this game is worth $70, meanwhile they getting them all for free and not paying for nothing. It's a sad situation with the state of the game industry as far as people who we should be able to rely on to convey the messages that we as gamers want to get to the developers. Will is a stickler for the way these people conduct their interviews, and he doesn't feel like they ask the right questions. And I agree with him, you know what I mean? Because he'll point some stuff out, and I'm like, man, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, why would you ask that? Destiny comes from a looter shooter live service type of background. You know what I mean? He come from Destiny. So when he talking about in game and stuff, he coming at it from that mindset. He not coming from it from the mindset of somebody playing like a Horizon or a Witcher. You talking about in game, it's different. You know what I mean? In game and a looter shooter is different from an in game in a Witcher 3 or Horizon. It's just completely different, and it's in a looter shooter, it's more like aggressive. It's more you chasing something. It's more you gearing up for something and getting prepared. Whereas it might not be the case over here in these more action adventure styles of game. But as far as the Crimson Desert section, that is it. Anything else you want to add? You want to put a cherry on top? Anything else you would like to add to this particular segment right here?
No, I'm good, man. I'm just looking forward to it. The game is PS5 Pro enhanced, so I'm excited to see what they do with that. I'm excited. Are we gonna get that solid 60? Are we gonna get 4K? I'm looking forward to get more information. The director of the game told us it's coming soon, so we'll leave it at that, right? And look, when he says it's coming soon, I believe it, because look at all the stuff they've been showing us. They've been on time with their announcement. They've been on time with their videos. So when he tells me it's coming soon, I'm going to believe him, because once again, show me your history, I tell you your future.
That's it, man. You heard it here first from the man himself, the number one Crimson Desert fanboy.
I told you earlier I was like level 2 to 10, bro. Excitement.
Yeah, so bro.
No, I'm hyped for the game. I can't wait.
Yeah, man, I'm hyped for it too. You know what I'm saying? That'll wrap the Crimson Desert section of the GGR die. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so carrying on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, fellas and fellettes, with the next topic of the evening or morning, whenever you may be listening to this, which is my most anticipated game of the year, Bungie's very own Marathon. Now, they've been dropping a bunch of clips, a bunch of tidbits of information, all kind of videos, and going into deep dives as far as the cores and buildability of the shells. And we got some news about the rank mode, which got some Arc Raider fans kind of jealous. You know what I'm saying? They want what we got over here, but they can't have what we got over here because they PvE. They hands up, don't shoot. That's the energy over there. So they can't handle, hardcore PvP player on player action that we will be experiencing inside of this rank mode over here on that Marathon. Now, Will, I know this is not your preferred genre, but you're doing me a solid and becoming one of my fire team members inside of this game, and I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, man. I could not do it without you. And we have played this game in the playtest a few times. So, Firstly and foremost, what do you think about Marathon as a game?
So I think that my opinion is actually important, and not because it's Will777JP saying it, but because it's a action open world single player gamer saying it, right? And I've always said this, and I still haven't had anybody prove me wrong, but whenever there's a new game like Marathon, right, a live service game coming out, I always say you're either trying to take customers from a current game out there that does the same thing you're doing, or you're trying to attract new gamers into the genre, right? Or the game, the style of game it is.
Yep.
And I'm one of those type of gamers because I don't really play live service games. Now, I do play them every once in a while because it's easy for a community game night, but my ideal game to play with my friends would be a game like Crimson Desert co-op. You know what I mean? That would be my ideal multiplayer type of game where the boys and I can hop in, do a story. Speaking of story, the aesthetics is the number one thing that I love about Marathon. Their aesthetics, their art style, it's just, I love it. And that's what attracts me to it. The second thing is the shooting. The shooting feels really good. Hey, it's Bungie, right? From the creators of Halo and Destiny. I love that. But I did play, I think it was called the beta with Henry. And it was one of the few times that I remember playing a live service game where me and Henry were laughing, having a good time. Yes, there was cursing. Yes, there were pissed off moments and yelling. But for the most part, we had a good time. And that whole world just intrigues me. Now, just like any live service game, I don't play it because I wake up and I'm like, I feel like playing Marathon today. No, I do it for my friends. So I will possibly be playing Marathon as well. But those are the things that interest me about Marathon. And the other thing too is on the last playtest that I did, well, both of them, Bungie asked us what it is we liked, what we didn't. And you know what, Henry? And Henry agrees with this too. That second playtest we did, they made a lot of those changes.
Yep.
So they actually listened to the gamers, and I was pleasantly surprised about that. So I'm really excited to see how the end or the finished product looks like when it comes out next month.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. I've been, saying that these surveys they put out at the end of these playtests is pivotal as gamers to participate inside of these surveys, because they ain't just sending them out just because. They genuinely want your feedback. And in this climate we're in now with games and gamers, and it's like people just want to shit on stuff. You know what I mean? They don't want to provide any actionable feedback. They just want to be. It's like they got a weird FOMO for shitting on games. They don't want to miss out for shitting on the next hot new game coming up. So they just rush it. They just check it out, rush away, and complain. We've seen this with High Guard. Recently came out. You go check out the Steam reviews and filter out all the reviews that people only had like an hour in, and the review scores start to change. It go, and it don't go to like overly positive or nothing like that, but it transitioned out of overly negative. So when you participate inside of a playtest, try to make a point in reading the question and answering it honestly. You know what I mean? Don't answer it in a way that you just trying to shit on the game or call the devs incompetent. You don't really want to do that. You want to do your best. And of course, if you don't give a fuck about the game, do whatever you want to. But if you actually give a fuck and you want to be, part of the core of individuals who help shape the game into it being what it needs to be and have the staying power it need to have, participate in them, man. Participate in them. A lot of the times, man, people don't feel like the developers are listening to you. They don't feel like the developers are being communicative or transparent. This is your way as a gamer to communicate directly what you want to them. Inside of there, they asked about price. They ask about the frequency of gunfights, and they ask about a ton of stuff about the game. So at each level, you able to give some detailed feedback. There was even a section where you can write your own little comment, and you know what I'm saying, on there. I was in that joint glazed. I was like, man, I'm loving what y'all doing. Keep doing what you're doing, But I also had some suggestions. I also was like, it would be cool if you can trade gear back and forth between your teammates before you get out in the field. You know what I'm saying? Will might have an attachment for a gun I want or need, and vice versa. I might have an item he may want or may need. You know what I'm saying? I put that in there because they provided me an opportunity to do so. And I feel like Marathon, this is a game designed for me in a way. I spent a ton of time inside of Destiny 2, and that's literally all I played. It was Division and Destiny and Blacklight Retribution on PS4. That's what I played. If it wasn't no shooting I'm going on, I was not playing it. And I spent more so of that time inside Destiny 2. Um, me and the homies ran through the story, and then we would participate in the Nightfalls. We would participate in everything the game had to offer as far as events and quests and world. We participated in all that stuff, and then because they would have a weekly reset on Tuesday. So they have a reset on Tuesday. All the events and stuff will reset. We will play that shit to 1 a.m. in the morning. We will run through all of it, have everything done by Thursday, and then from that day on to reset, we in PvP. That's what the fuck we was doing. We was PvPing it up, and it got to the point to where they took away their PvP team, and so we was just really just getting scraps. And I still stuck with the game for like another 3-4 years until I was just like, you know what, I'm done. Clearly they're more focused on PvE, which was fine. I was upset, I was annoyed, but at that point I realized, it's just not for me. They're not really doing what I need them to do as far as keeping it updated, keeping it fresh, map rotation, weapon buffs, and different things of that nature. So, I moved on, but then we see Marathon come out, and though it's not strictly PvP, it's more so PvP leaning, with that option of PvP. When you see another player, it's gonna be a scrap. It's not like Arc Raiders where you see another player and you trying to find on the emote wheel, you trying to find out, hey, don't shoot. Ain't gonna be none of that. You see him before he see you, and either you shoot or he gonna shoot. You know what I mean? Somebody gonna die. And I like that because it give me somewhere to let my steam off, throw my steam off, and also it's different elements in there to keep it interesting with the NPC enemies. You know what I'm saying? And sure, some people might engage in rat-like tactics, quote unquote, but that's just the nature of the beast. You know what I mean? The loot and the gear ain't your turn. I mean, the loot and the gear ain't yours. It's just your turn with it. That's what one of the individuals said, and that really made sense because in these styles of game, you have what they call gear fear, where, and Will had asked me about this before, and I didn't really have an answer to him for the question of, why I'm gonna take my good stuff in, what I'm saying, why I'm gonna risk my good stuff and I'm gonna die, what, what I'm saying, something along those lines,
yeah.
which was pretty much just gear fear, and you really,
damn, I'm scary. I'm scary.
No. It's just you. It was a good question, and I like I said, I didn't have an answer for it. Because I know I'm gonna die, so I don't really get attached to any of the stuff I have. But I understand how somebody who doesn't have that same, like you, who don't really have the attitude, it's the attitude you got to cultivate, really. You know what I'm saying? Because it is jarring to go into an experience and you find some cool shit. And then you're like, oh shit, I got this cool gun, I got a scope, I done upgraded, I got a scope on it, I got an extended mag, I got this attachment, that attachment, I got, what I'm saying, I got this core, that core, and then you got your character built up to the way you want them, and you find some success. Then next thing you know, you get shot in the head and you dead, and you got to start all the way over. I understand how that can be demoralizing, but I kind of developed that attitude in a weird kind of way playing Souls games, because when I come up to a boss, I know I'm not going to beat this motherfucker the first time. It's going to take me maybe 15, 20 times before I beat him, but I know eventually I'm going to beat him. So I don't take the loss as hard. You know what I mean? So I kind of carry that attitude over into this because I know at any point in any gunfight, I could lose it and die. You know what I'm saying? So it's just my turn with that gear because they're gonna come over here and take it, and then got to do it all over again. But I think that is cool. I think that happening adds a lot of tension, and it's exhilarating. It's exciting, because it makes these individual gunfights much more intense, and it's more, they got more weight to them because Because in the other shooters, if you die, okay, you just go back to the lobby. Whatever gun setup you got, you got it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your loadout is, you got it. But in this, it's important. It's imperative. You know, everything is. If you lose this, your shit is gone. You know what I'm saying? So you got a little more added pressure, and you either rise to the occasion, or you get smoked like a Newport, and you gotta go on that grind all over again. And you know, it might sound crazy, but it's exciting to me, and I really enjoy it. In that last playtest we participated in together, man, it was a damn good time, and they did exercise a lot of the irritations that we had, individuals had that had voiced online, and the game felt a lot better. It felt quicker, it felt smoother, it looked clearer, and it had only been like a couple of like 3-4 months in between the two tests, so they was really, it's like they put the test out and they didn't even stop working on it. They kept working on it, and then we got the updated stuff, and that's really cool. I'm really excited. I'm glad to see, in light of all that negativity they got, they still kept their head down and kept grinding and kept producing. I love that shit, because even with the one guy, it was I don't remember his name, but he even said, he was like, we're cutting it close, but we got to get it done. You know what I'm saying? We got to get it done. And that's inspiring, bro. That's inspiring, because I've been in situations where, it's balls to the wall, it's make it or break it. This got to get done. We ain't got no choice. It got to get done, man. You might pull a 16-hour day, go back to the hotel room, sleep for 3 hours, and then you back up and you back on the site, because it got to get done. It's a deadline. It's a deadline tomorrow, and we got to hit it. You know what I'm saying? So I really identify with that. And once they reach the finish line and produce that game, like I don't expect this game to do what Art Raiders doing. No, I don't expect that. But I do think at the end of the day, this will be a polished, it will be sound, it'll be great, it'll deliver on gameplay, it'll deliver on movement, it will deliver on skill expression, customization, everything that you would expect of a Bungie sci-fi shooter. I think this game will deliver on that. I really do. Did you checked out any of the recent clips and trailers as far as the shell, the different shell trailers they put out with the destroyer and the assassin? You checked those out?
Oh yeah, I mean, I watched your videos. You cover this topic. So guys, if you just tune in for the GG or Die podcast, man, you got to go check out Henry's just regular content that he does on the weekly, because he goes over all that. And honestly, that is the reason why I'm a little excited for Marathon, because I'm informed. You know what I mean? It just doesn't look cool. I know what's going to be happening with the game. And that's also a huge shout out to Bungie, because they are informing us. And something that really impressed me with them is when they did that big announcement a couple of weeks ago where they dropped everything, right? They dropped the headset, the controller, the collector's edition. Like, they just went bam, 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 and they haven't pulled their foot off the gas yet. It's like they know their game is coming out next month. And we have had so many experiences with developers and publishers just not knowing how to market their game or market at all. I mean, I think that's one of Xbox's biggest problems, right? Aside from that poor management, is that I think that some of their games are actually decent. And if they just market it, they would have done better. And I think Bungie's got that covered, and it's got me excited. Look, I'm going to tell you something else. I download games all the time, man. Download games all the time. I also delete games all the time as well. But that Marathon beta, the both of them that I did, I ain't delete them yet. So they're still hooked up. So if they say, hey, there's a beta today, I'm ready to go. So that tells you something. But yeah, I'm hyped for the skins. I'm hyped for the shells. I can't wait to see what other things they drop. Because remember, with the betas, we only got a taste, right? We didn't get the whole thing. And mind you guys, that the story. I'm a big story person in video games, so that's where I get all my entertainment. I don't really watch movies like that. But mind you, the runners, that's what they're called, the characters in Marathon.
Yep.
They are humans that sold themselves to corporations to go into other planets to get loot from these companies that went belly up, but have a lot of valuables that they left behind. And every time you die, your consciousness, you get a whole new body created, and your consciousness goes back in there, and you are in debt to these people because it takes, like how he says, at the beginning of the every time that you get alive again or rebuilt, you go into like a psychiatrist where you're sitting in front of a chair and they're asking you like, do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? And they're just gauging to see how much of that consciousness transferred over. And she says, how are you feeling? And she says, like $1 trillion. Well, because that's what it is, right? So I just love that detail in there. Like, why, people say I feel like $1 million. Nope, I feel like $1 trillion because that's how much it costs to do this thing that we're doing. And I just love that. So I hope we get more of that in the game. And because it is a PvPvE, right, where it is player versus everybody, I think that they're going to throw a little bit more of those story elements in there, whether we're reading up on it, whether it's cutscenes. I don't know quite yet, but I'm really hyped to see what that's about. And look, it's going to be a game that's going to be on the normal rotation for the Just Playing live on Tuesdays over on my channel, where Henry is part of, RPG88 is part of. But we'll see. Do I get a day one? I don't know about that quite yet.
Man, you getting a day one, bro. We marathon in day one, man. So we gotta build up our currency so we able to hit that rank, brother. We able to hit that rank. That's one thing I'm really excited for as well. And that's some of that in game right there that Destiny was asking about. I think we're in a awesome time for not only multiplayer games but shooters. You know what I mean? We getting a lot of different variety right now, as far, because even in the same sub genre of extraction shooter right now, we got Marathon, which is first person, more so PvP leaning, and we also got Arc Raiders, which is third person, more so PvE leaning.
What we need is a single player narrative driven shooter. That's what we really need.
That we need, bro. We good on that, bro. It's multiplayer season, bro. That's what we on right now.
Bro. You know what's the biggest single player-ish kind of game we got is Suicide Squad. that's
hey,
what
bro.
we.
Hey, bro.
All y'all PvPers, live service gamers.
Yeah, bro. You know what? Yeah, we did have that. You know what I'm saying? It went around for super long, but we had it. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm playing that right now.
Okay, Louis, you see, you know what I'm saying? It lives on.
I got the connection to people turned off, so it's just me. But I just feel like playing a shooter. Shooting is my favorite genre, man. The only reason I say open world action RPG is because we don't get the Halos and the Gears like we used to back in the day. You know what I mean?
No, don't.
So the open world action adventure games is the second best, right? But yeah, man, I feel like playing shooters. I just beat the Call of Duty Modern Warfare campaign for all 3 Modern Warfare just last week, because man, I get that itch, and I'm hoping that Marathon can at least scratch that itch.
Yeah, I'm hoping it will too. And even if it may not deliver a story in the traditional way, I hope that it provides. I hope it's interesting enough for you to want to, stick with it and find out more, and kind of be immersed inside of what's going on the Marathon. Especially you get in there, you start getting into the raids, and finding all the the little notes and information about what happened and what went down, which company doing what, and it's a lot of cool stuff I think that will come across inside of there, and I can't wait, man. I'm super excited for that game, bro. It's like I said, it's made for the sci-fi vibe, the guns, the movement, the abilities, it's a lot of stuff up in there. And like Will said, I did put together a few videos on the different runners that we've been presented with so far. Sadly, they did come out and say that they're super busy, so they won't have a trailer for all of them by the time the game comes out. But the way it's looking, if not every week, every other week we'll get a new trailer, and it's only like 20 something days away, so it's right around the corner. You know what I'm saying? And I think hopefully, you know what I'm saying, the wife been, booking vacations. So hopefully I won't,
Bro,
you know
I
what I'm
hate
saying,
booking them.
miss out
I
on
love
it.
going, but I hate booking
Yeah,
them.
yeah. And shit, I mean, worst come to worst, I take the PS Portal and then I could do a quote unquote will it play on the portal while I'm on
Yeah,
vacation
yeah.
with
Let us know.
marathon edition. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So
that's the good thing to do, bro. Because look, man, we all try to go on vacation, right? Some more than other. But if I know that a game is gonna play clean on the portal, then I'm gonna be
yeah,
apt, because right now I got a Steam Deck, I got a Switch 2, I got the portal, right? So
yeah,
it's like you try to take all three of them things, bro. That's a whole luggage in itself.
it
You know what I
is.
mean? So
It
if I
is.
know that I can take the portal and play all these games, yeah, I'd rather just take that. But yeah,
Yeah, for
hell yeah,
sure.
do it.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. Because usually people wouldn't recommend playing first person shooters or games that intense on the portal. But I'm gonna tell you, I played Concord on the portal. I played War War Robots on the portal. I played what's another shoot? Well, I also played Metro on the portal, but that's not like an intense person to person shooter. But the War Robots and Concord, they played pretty solid. I even played a couple of games on Just Playing Tuesdays on the portal. I played the what's that? We was just talking about the Alien Fire Team. I played that on the portal. I played I played quite a few shooters on the portal, and it performed well enough, at that time. And the performance of the portal has only improved. So I'm pretty sure that I get a I get a comparable experience when this game come out in the Airbnb down in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Whipping it on marathon, running my gear score up, getting
Yeah, that's
prime
where
and
I'm
ready
going
for
next.
that rank.
Florida.
Right, we'll be down there in I think we're going to like Melbourne. We usually go to Destin, but I think we're going to Melbourne. Um, my cousin and his family, we both going half and getting an Airbnb on the beach, I think. And
Very nice.
yeah, kicking it. That's what we usually do. Like we'll like split a condo or something, but this time we put it in the air that we want to check out this other city down there. So that's probably what we gonna
Hey,
do.
that's what me and my sister did when we went to Florida, not last year, but the year before, man. We got a fat ass Airbnb, bro, a mansion. Literally
Oh
a
shit.
mansion. And
Oh shit.
yeah, yeah, it was a mansion. Fucking I mean it wasn't like Hollywood Hills mansion, but it was, 6 bedroom, fucking pool on a golf course. It was $1 million house, but when you break it up between two families, it's like why not? You got six
Yeah,
bedrooms,
bro.
everybody's got their own room, the kids split the rooms or whatever. And this is a good time, man. That's what we did. At the end of the night, we would, we went to Disney, so we would come home, eat dinner, spend time with each other, and then it gets to that time where my sister's on her phone, right? My brother-in-law's reading his book, the kids are playing, and I'm just sitting there like, all right, it's time to pull the portal out. It's time to pull the switch out. And you just get a little bit of gaming in, not like when you're back home, but hey, an hour or two, hey, that's a done deal.
Yep. Yep. And that's how I usually do. Like this last time we went last summer, and at this time the cloud streaming was in beta. But at the time I was playing, what was it? Uh, like a Dragon Ishin. I was playing that, and I booted that joint up on the portal, picked up right where I left off, and you know what I'm saying. That's what I was playing. But late in the evenings after everybody, you know what I'm saying, was chill, and we had already had all the fun we're gonna have, and so I logged in an hour or two at night, and it was a grand old time. But that's stuff. That's enough portal talk for right now. It's time to move on over to the big announcement for the week, a huge announcement for the week. Everybody's favorite developer, Gorilla, dropped an announcement for the boys and the girls, for the fellas and the fellettes in, hold on, I forgot the name of this game. Hold on. Hunter's Gathering.
Yep, Hunter's Gathering.
Yeah, Horizon Hunter's Gathering. That's a mouthful for you right there, boy. That's the guy doing double cheeseburger, brother. But out of nowhere, on a good Thursday, the leakers didn't know. The rumor mill individuals didn't know. The games media didn't know. And I'm hyped. I was hyped. As soon as I seen it, the announcement, it was a tweet. It was a post. I clicked that video and I'm like, hold on, this is real. This is real, ladies and gentlemen. I watched the video. And first and foremost, the way it was presented, you know, gameplay, visuals, the developers talking about the game, describing the game, telling us what we're gonna be doing, describing the world, describing the premise, showcasing multiple characters, showcasing the gameplay mechanics. I was with it, bro. I was with it. That was a great announcement to me. In your opinion, Will777JP, how did you feel about this announcement? Were you shocked? Were you surprised? Was it out of the blue for you? You know what I'm saying? How did you feel when you seen that post by PlayStation Nation regarding Guerrilla Games Horizon Hunters Gathering?
So, yeah, I was shocked, man. I was really surprised. I was just talking about this not that long ago where I said, look, last Horizon that came out was 4 years ago, and Guerrilla's been on a 5-year pace, so they're due for something. Now, you know, this is still 4 years from Forbidden West, so we'll see if they do the third game in the trilogy next year. But yeah, no, this was a welcome surprise. Of course, I prefer the single player stuff, but for those of you guys that don't know, the Horizon games are in my top 3 of all time. You know, so it ain't like I'm just being a Sony pony. Nah, bro, the Horizon is my shit. I love it. So the fact that it was Horizon, it came out of nowhere. Oh yeah. So then I sat down, I watched the 9-minute video that they put out, and they said a couple things that I really, really fuck with. And that is, this is canon. This is a story-based game.
Yep.
It could just be played with your friends.
Yep. That's dope. It was really dope. I think for me, the thing that really stood out to me was how much gameplay they showed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He spoke to, you know, it's early, so some stuff ain't polished.
Yeah.
And that may be true, but from what I seen, the shit looked motherfucking good. The shit looked good. The shit looked fucking fun. The shit looked like it's gonna have a bunch of different mechanics you're gonna be able to engage with, change up your gameplay. It's got some roguelike mechanics in that bitch. It's got each character can kind of change their roles in a way, you know what I'm saying? So you're not necessarily stuck playing one specific way. I think that's super dope. I think it's super dope. I think there's a lot of room here for customization. Even if you can't build your own character from the ground up, I think you'll still be able to, you know, customize that character to make it look how you want it to look within the constraints of that character's personality and the armor and different things of that nature. I think that whole shit is cool. And a lot of people spoke to not necessarily agreeing with the visual style of it. And to be quite honest, I would have preferred it to be more so on the realism side, but I'm not mad at this. I do think for the style of game it's gonna be, this fits. I think that, you know, it translates well to, because the characters moving quick as fuck. They moving super fast. You know what I mean? The shit they doing is super animated. It's super flashy. It's a spectacle. And I think with them choosing this style of art and presentation, it give them a lot of room to be flashy and, you know, particle effects and area effects and all this kind of stuff without necessarily having to worry about a huge hit in performance. Because I feel like you have a lot of this stuff going on inside a more realistic game with multiplayer, with crossplay across the PlayStation and PC. I feel like it leaves too much room for like hitches and glitches and performance problems and stuff like that. So sure, it's kind of a disappointment, but it makes sense to me. And also, to one of Will's favorite points, it also allows for, you know, a smaller budget. You know what I'm saying? It's since they're not using the tip of the top, the highest technologies, they can make it for cheaper. They can make it for cheaper, and they could potentially get it out quicker. They ain't talking about they ain't been working on this that long, but it looked like they got a decent amount of stuff there. You know what I'm saying? It looked like it's a decent amount there already.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's awesome. Now, if you want to go into like your kind of principle about, you know, the spending less and doing these kind of spin-offs, you want to go into that a little bit for the people?
Yeah. And look, I've been called names. People have been aggressively negative when I say this. But first thing first, I'm on the side that I'm not in love with the art style. And I'm not saying that this cartoony art style is just a no-go. No, they should have done exactly what they're doing. I just think they could have designed it different. They could have made it look a little different. Keep the same aesthetic, keep the same colors, keep everything the same. It's just the design itself I'm not like in love with. But that's okay. I'm not one of these people that, I don't like the character, so the whole game is in the garbage, right? Like people did with Concord and disregard the gameplay. But what I've been saying in regards to the smaller games, and I said this on shout out to Thrifty. I said this on Thrifty's podcast about a month or two ago, where I said, look, I don't understand. These games take a long time. I don't understand. And FYI, this is exactly how this game was made. I read the PlayStation blog. Go check that out. They basically did just that. They threw in a group of people in the room, said, here, go work on this. They check up on it. All right, you guys are doing progress. We like what you're doing. They invest more. They throw more money at it. They throw more people at it. So next thing you know, the thing has grown to a point where now, okay, we're serious about this. We're going to complete this thing. And that's all I was saying. Look, man, you have these studios that are 3, 4, 5, 6, 1,000 people strong. You're telling me you can't find 2, 3, 4 people and say, hey, who here wants to create something on their own? Y'all 3, y'all 4. All right, here's this little office. Go up in there. Here's a little small budget, maybe $100,000. Come up with some ideas. Start off with some. Let's see how it is. We'll check with you in a month or 2. You come back. If it's not doing what you want it to do, or if there's nothing sparking art, get rid of it. Do something else. But if you see that it's taking off and you can do something with it, then keep growing it and keep investing and keep going at the pace that it needs to in order to grow. And that's all I'm saying, bro. But people always talk about, oh yeah, man, so what? They come out with a $20 game and they sell 1 million copies. That ain't enough to pay the bills. It's better than nothing, right? You take a $20 game, 1 million, that's $20 million. You telling me that $20 million ain't shit? I don't care if you're EA. I don't care if you're Activision, where you sold for $80 billion. If somebody hands you $20 million, that's $20 million.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying, bro. It's like you have the resources. Money ain't a problem at PlayStation. We just saw the numbers, right? They're at like 92, 97 million consoles sold. They have 132 million active users. They're making more money than ever right now. You telling me they have an issue? No, they don't got no issue, bro. And they got the manpower. While people are laying people off, PlayStation's out here hiring. So you telling me that they can't take a small group of people to get something going, while the big guys are working on Horizon 3, while, you know, they're working on Spider-Man 3, while they're working on Uncharted 5 or 6 or whatever fucking Uncharted they're on. Absolutely, bro. And that's all I was saying. But people said that diminishes the studio, or that the PlayStation brand. That what's the word, Henry? It waters them down, right? I'm like, how? How is this Horizon watering down the PlayStation IP, right? And let's attack the other thing too that people were saying. Who asked for this?
Oh man,
right? Because we've been seeing that all over the fucking place. Who asked for this? The same people who asked for the first Last of Us. You know what I mean? Nobody asked for this. That's their job, right?
Yeah, bro.
Who asked for the new house? Who asked for the new subdivision that they're building? Nobody. They're just building it because there's opportunity. There's people that need houses, so they're building it. There's people that need games, so they're making them. Now, whether they sell the game or not, that's up to them. That's their problem. But who? And another thing, because people love clowning on the Horizon IP, right?
Yep.
They have 2 games out. 2. Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West. We talk about 40 million copies sold.
Yeah.
Like I said in the video, my reaction video, I am one, and there's another 39,999,999 other players out there that bought Horizon. So when we talk about who asked for this, we did. I don't know how many podcasts we heard people talking about we would like a multiplayer. Even I asked for a multiplayer, and I'm not a multiplayer, live service kind of person, right? But they're doing it the style that I like it. They're doing a narrative game with lore that pertains to the story that is canon that I can play with the boys.
Yep.
Now, I would have loved a prequel, right?
Yep.
Where you fight the robots. I would have loved that. But hey, I'll take this. And look, like Henry said, they showed us a lot of gameplay in a 9-minute video. Am I in love with all the characters? No. But I spotted a couple that I do like that I can't wait to play. And the other thing I want to tackle, Henry, if that's okay with you.
Go ahead, get on to it.
Is people are clowning and acting like this is a woke game because they got the one fat girl being the tank.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah.
Please, throughout video game history, all the video games that you played, all the characters that you played, how more common is it that the character that's the tank, the heavy armor, the heavy melee, the heavy whatever, isn't a big boy or big girl?
It's every time, pretty much. No, it's every time. It's every time, bro. They gonna be the bigger burly character. That's the one way of knowing they either gonna be the tank or the bruiser type character. You know what I'm saying? They gonna take all the damage and they gonna deal heavy damage and have a super high health pool. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Super high.
Now, if they got a stamina the same size as a old girl with the flat belly with the pink hair, then okay, then we got a problem, right? Because their stamina shouldn't be like that. Yeah. But that's character design. But yeah, it's just funny, man. Like nobody that I saw in that character looked out of place. They had somebody from the Nora. They had somebody from the Shadow or from the Karja. I think the one girl in all black was from the Shadow Karja. They had one from the Tanakh. They had people from all the different tribes in Horizon. Nobody looked out of place there. I just don't understand where this is coming from, man. People be tripping, bro, for real. And this goes back to what I mentioned at the very beginning of the podcast when we talked about Crimson Desert, where people criticizing versus just hating.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the other thing that I said about the whole who asked for this is, or I'm sorry, I didn't say this, but one more thing. The people who saying they should have put this on a fucking showcase.
Oh, right? Bro.
A state of play. What, like High Guard? Like how y'all treated High Guard?
Bro.
So they put it on a video game award show or a show, and then look what y'all did with High Guard. Like, man, you can't wait. I'm telling you.
It, boy. Big boy shitted on it, man. Oh my goodness. They wanted it a state of play or a showcase just so they can call the showcase a 6 out of 10 because they show multiplayer games and then nobody want to see multiplayer games.
And not just that, Henry, but this video, let's just say it was 10 minutes. It was like 9 minutes, 30 seconds, or 20 or 40, or something like that. Let's just round it up to 10 minutes. And FYI, rounding is a real thing. I just did my 1099 taxes for 2025, and the government rounds up. FYI, they don't do pennies on a 1099, just so you know.
Talk to them.
But let's round up real quick. All right, that's 10 minutes. That's 10 more minutes of other shit they can show on a show on a state of play. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, the game ain't ready yet. They told us they ain't ready. The reason they're showing us this game is because they want our input, right? They're trying to learn from their mistakes. They said, okay, the Horizon IP is popular. We know this, whether you, the listener, agree or not, but the numbers are facts, right? The numbers speak for themselves. 40 million says it is. Not many video games in history have ever even reached that fucking number.
Yep.
Only a handful have reached 40 million plus.
Yep.
So whether you want it or not, aside from that, they out here are saying, you know what? Let's bring in the people. Let's let them know what we're working on, what we're trying to do, and let them know that they can be involved. Right? And to me, that's a smart thing, especially in the situation PlayStation is in right now with live service games. Especially. But once again, we don't know if this is a live service game. We just know it's an online co-op multiplayer game, right? We don't know if it's a live service. We don't know if they're gonna be selling us fucking diamonds and pebbles and rocks that it costs $10.99 to get 5, so you can upgrade your bow or change your skin. We don't know this shit yet. It's a possibility. We don't know, but they're getting us in early so we can help shape this game. And now the people are gonna be like, "Well, they shouldn't be doing that." Well, then go tell Baldur's Gate 3 that. You know what I mean? What's the game I was just playing yesterday on stream, Henry?
No Rest for the Wicked.
No Rest for the Go tell No Rest for the Wicked that, because they were at 1 million sold, and just in a week they sold another 500,000.
And the game ain't out yet.
And guess what? And the game ain't out yet. And the gamers are loving it because they feel like they're part of it. Now look, whether I agree with that, it's irrelevant because that's exactly what they're doing. Now to speak on my own personal thing, right? I think it's okay for early access. I do. And let me take that back, because early access, this is not what Horizon is doing, right? You're not paying for the game and so you can have dibs on it later on. No, what they're doing is they're play testing.
Yep.
They're allowing you, the player, to play this game, give them your feedback for free. You don't have to buy the game yet. Once the game comes out, version 1.0, then you buy the game, right?
Yep.
So this is not that. But I can see where early access works. It's just to an extent is the problem that I have with some of these games that have been in early access for years. I mean, Baldur's Gate, 3 years. Now, true, it paid off for them. They won Game of the Year. It's known as one of the best games ever. But I just think that's way too long, man. Imagine you buying into this year 1, right? And then take 3 years. But hey, everybody makes their own decision. I'm not hating on it if you do. I'm not praising you if you don't. You know what I mean? It's up to you, your money, your time. You do what you do. I just want to play the game in a finished state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Unless they tell me, and they are telling me, Horizon's telling me, like, this is a play test. We're right now here where we are. This is where we're trying to go.
Yeah, man. I agree. I 100% agree with you. Especially in a game like this where it's, multiplayer and you gotta balance different abilities and mechanics and strengths of, like, is the boss, how strong is the boss, how long does it take to kill with this team composition versus that team. It's a lot of, like, formulas and stuff to figure out in order to create a balanced experience inside of games like this. Sometimes you'll try to approach a fight in a certain way and it just don't work. And I feel like they would want you to be able to approach the fight however you want to and be able to find some success and not just be soft lock or hard lock because of the character you want to play. And then too, with it having the roguelike mechanics of you unlocking these different things and buffs and nerfs, and they don't want to, you might, because that's luck of the draw. So you get what you get. You don't want to be in a position where you get something that it may not be favorable, but you still also able to be successful with it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's cool. I think it's dope. It really looked like it's gonna be a fun game. They even had the social hub area over in there. We can have like a custom campsite. I think that's dope. That's something that people enjoy in the multiplayer games. Monster Hunter has something similar. Even people in Arc Raiders, they're asking for Speranza to be like a hub area where they can walk around and hang out and do stuff like that. So it even shows that they're paying attention to some of the asks from the fans of other popular games, even though they're not in the same genre. And I think that's dope, and I think that'll only serve them well to keep their ears to the streets. Sure, they got a Discord and people in there gonna be talking and making suggestions. And one key thing that we talked about is developers having a way to filter out the noise between good feedback and then just people just being negative for the sake of being negative. And I think some of these developers have gotten it figured out. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure that once we do participate inside of these play tests, we will have they gonna send surveys out. You know what I'm saying? They gonna send them out, and people gonna, like I said, make sure you utilize them, answer them honestly, answer them constructively. But that on top of whatever system they got in place right now, listening and filtering ideas and seeing what people are saying about this game that they can possibly implement in here, because not only do they have the Monster Hunter like mechanics in here, they also got rogue like mechanics in here. They also got siege like modes in here. They also got the storm closing in like a night rain, like what I'm saying. They got a lot of stuff in here, a lot of different ideas in here, and some of them may not work, but that's one of the beauties of a play test, because if it don't work, then you could either tweak it or take it out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's awesome for them to come to us and speak this early and show us this much, and then also let us know, like, hey, yeah, we doing this, but we still gonna do the single player stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They putting a lot of. I love that. They putting a lot of work in this. You can tell they putting a lot of work into it, but they also made a point to let the people know, like, hey, we're not forgetting about what got us here. The single player shit is what got Horizon this big and this huge, to the point to where we could even have the resources to produce a multiplayer game. You know what I'm saying? Because without that single player experience, you don't get none of this. And I think that's going to make a lot of people happy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like you who want and even like me, you know what I'm saying? Horizon was dope, who want more of that single player. We know it's a third one on the way, you know what I'm saying? And I do expect to at least hear some news about it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's at the mythical state of play that all these people keep talking about. And that'll be awesome too. I like how they're expanding the world of Horizon. People like to fake hate on this game as if it's being forced down people's throat, and we seen what happened. You can't make people like a game. You just can't fucking do it. Either people like it or they don't. And to sell 40 fucking million in two titles, one of them being a $70 title, but that's just because people enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? That's because people like it. It ain't you're not forcing nobody to spend no 70 to the point to where these games are making up 40 million fucking. This is a new IP. This still a fresh IP. This ain't been around for no generations. You know what I'm saying? 10 years. Bro, you got games that been out. It's some of these Falcom games they've been dropping some of these Falcom games since PlayStation fucking 2. And they just now hitting, as a franchise total, they just now hitting 5-6 million. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And they've been putting them out since PlayStation fucking 2. This is a huge IP. This is one of the key PlayStation franchises right here. Say what you want to say about it. Say they forcing it down our throat. Say they trying to make you listen, bro. The numbers speak for themselves, and this game is moving. People enjoy this franchise, and it's even. I believe it's even more opportunity to expand this franchise. Like you say, we want that prequel. They can drop that fucking prequel or shooter. That's gonna go.
Hell yeah. Live service or not, I'm getting. And look, let's be real here. We have Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon Call of the Mountain, and the new Lego Horizon game. That's it. All 10 years.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it. Like Henry was saying, there's IP out there that's been around since the PS1 era that just is starting to hit the 5-6 million mark. Yeah, like, come on, guy. I just don't understand it. Look, just in Steam alone, there was 18 or 19,000 games that released in 2025. Okay, just Steam alone. You don't like it? Play something else, my boy.
That's it. that is it.
You know what I mean?
With these numbers, it show you that people coming over here for a reason. Because even when you bring up the Lego game, even when you bring up Call of the Mountain, those is fresh. Those are fresh joints, bro. It ain't like those been around from the gate. Those are fresh spin-offs, dude. And then even you might say, oh, they horror. Alo is a good character. She been in Genshin Impact, and that's another newish game. That game ain't been out for
Alo's been in Genshin Impact?
Yeah, she's in Genshin Impact.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Well, like as a skin?
Nah, she a character in there. Like you can unlock her.
Oh wow, I
Hell
might
yeah,
play
she.
Genshin Impact now because of that.
Yeah, you got to get to adventure rank 20, and then you can
Oh
get a.
shit. Well,
It,
let's do like these YouTubers do with their editor. How about you just get to that level for me, and then I'll act like I
hey, bro,
got there.
have your sub ready up for you, bro, and
Yeah,
and then
yeah. Like,
and then when you get to adventure rank 19, tell them to give it to you, so then you can
don't
create
you?
that video, create that video of
My
you
son would be
unlocking
pissed as hell. Like, hell no, I'm playing it. I earned it.
it. But
We don't
yeah,
cheat around here, bro. We play games for real.
but yeah, she been in there. She been in Fortnite, I think, and
Yeah, Fortnite. I got that skin.
and they also got the Horizon. It's not it's not technically AO, but they got the Horizon skin in Destiny 2.
Destiny. I got that too.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? This PlayStation believe in this franchise, and
And they should.
exactly. This is a key franchise right here, bro. This is right here.
Should.
That joint right there behind God of War.
Yeah.
You got GT7, you got God of War, and you
Bro,
got
not even.
fucking
I don't think
Horizon.
God of War has even sold 40 million. I'm gonna be real with
Oh
you
shit.
guys.
Oh
I don't
shit.
even think it has. I could be wrong, but I just saw some previous numbers where God of War 1 through basically the OG God of Wars. I think they've only got like 6 or 7 million of those sold. It wasn't until
Yeah.
2018 Corey Barlogs who got that like 15, 20 million copies sold. So it wasn't until they redid them to what they are now that they sold. You know what I mean? So all the people saying no, they need to bring it back for what? So it can sell another 700,000 copies.
Nah, PlayStation ain't doing that, bro. PlayStation doing the right thing, bro. They doing the right thing with the right IP, and we do want them to like expand a little more, do a little more. I think they can do some spin-offs with uh Uncharted. I think they could do that. Naughty Dog out here doing whatever it is they doing. They could have dropped at this point 2, 3 Uncharted spin-offs or something. You know what I'm saying? Some shorter, more laid back, not as involved type of jump. Do what they did at Gorilla. You know what I'm saying? Drop
Oh,
the
never mind. The numbers are incorrect. So it was the first three main God of War titles, not including PSP or spin-offs or remasters, sold a combined total of 14 million copies.
mm,
God of War 2005 sold 4.6, God of War 2 sold 4.2, and God of War 3 sold 5.1.
mm.
So it took them 3 games to sell 14 million, where God of War did that. God of War 2018 did that with 1 game.
Okay, so yeah. Either way, God of War
Either
hitter.
way,
We know God of War hitter, but
yeah,
fucking Horizon is fucking hitter too. It's a new fucking
yeah,
IP, fresh.
new
This
IP.
this this joint was
Yeah,
not on PS2. It wasn't on PSP.
nah,
It wasn't on none of that. You know what I'm saying?
none of that. Yep.
This joint is here to stay, and I'm happy to see it. I'm glad. More Horizon ain't never hurt nobody, and if you're hurt by it, then go play something else. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the other thing too that gets me confused because people, we get so many of these live service game and people ask, man, why they keep trying, right? Well, because they want to hit it big, right? Like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Apex, all these games, right? But nobody ever says the same shit about single player.
Mm,
Like, if you're gonna gamble with the live service shit, you can gamble on single player and get that 40 milli off 2 games.
yep,
You
that's a
just gotta
fact.
sell us the game. You just gotta put into work.
That's a
Well, you think
fact.
Horizon just got invented and it sold 40 million automatically? No, it did it because the story is incredible, the gameplay's fire. You know what I mean? Everything they did with it is dope.
Yep, that's a fact. That is a fact. And on that note, we have made it to the end of our time with the good brother Will777JP. Let the folk know where they can find you at, good brother.
Man, y'all can find me over at Will777JP over on YouTube, X, PlayStation, everywhere. That's where I'm at, except Blue Sky. I'm not on Blue Sky, but where the regular people go, that's where I'll be. But no, thanks Henry for having me on, man. I had a blast. It's
Hey,
always
bro.
fun talking games.
Hey, that's a fact, boy. Hey, you can find me everywhere except for the hey. Oh shit, bro, that was a good one. That was a good one, man. I appreciate you for coming through, man. We try to get this nailed down so we can do this more often. Have a guest on here and then have you come back for sure, bro. It was a good time. Nice change of pace as far as you know, the back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Because usually it's just me, so I don't really have that to go idea for idea, talking point to talking point, opinion to opinion. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
nice to have you on here. Very knowledgeable when it comes to this game, these gaming streets, and you play a ton of games, beat a ton of games, and
Nah, bro, I'm an ultra casual.
that's what it
I'm
is,
not
bro.
knowledgeable. I'm an ultra casual.
And you racing through games. That's what you be doing, racing through them,
Yeah, I race through games. I do this for a job, even though I don't really make money off it. I like, everybody can do it for fun except for Will. Will's got an ulterior motive. I have invincible or unlimited amount of time. I don't work.
yeah,
Hey, I
bro.
wake up and my mortgage is paid for me, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I
bro.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
bro.
Kratos when he wake up with the three baddies, having a threesome and shit in God of War 3. That's Will.
Yeah,
No,
bro.
that's
You
not
just
me,
you
guys.
just wake up to bliss. You
Yeah, I
feel
just
me?
wake up to bliss.
That's dope.
Yes, I
That's
have a
dope.
direct line to Poseidon and shit. Like,
That's
what the
dope.
fuck?
But yeah, appreciate you everybody for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you stay throughout the whole thing. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe. You know what I'm saying? It's been episode 5, GGR Die with the big homie Will777JP. And I'll see y'all next week.